To the Jar Podcast. I'm your host, Judah Scott, and today we're going to be diving into the powerful and thought-provoking novel, Babel, by R.F. Kuang. This book blends dark academia, historical fiction, and fantasy to explore language, colonialism, identity, and revolution. And if you haven't finished the book yet, this is your spoiler warning. Today I'm joined by Austin Smith and Raquel Baguette, and today we're going to be talking about the overview of the story, the characters' relationships, some major themes, and then finally we're going to end with some closing remarks. All right, Austin, Raquel, what did y'all think overall the story's about?
I mean, I like the book so far. I think it's interesting. I definitely like the second half of the book more than the first half.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Austin?
In my personal opinion, I think that the book really started off with very subtle hints, and then as it started to continue on and reading more of the book, I started to learn like some of the lessons that some of the characters have went through, and I feel like that in some ways I can relate to some of their struggles.
How so?
I would say that many characters like Rami and Robin definitely go through struggles that I could relate to at some point in time, not currently fitting into a place at a certain point and not possibly ever going to fit in. It's very a struggle, especially in like when you're trying to do your best, trying to fit in, but there's always that one part that you just cannot change about yourself because that is you.
Yes, I especially see that with Rami, with, you know, him having that Indian background, especially in Britain, trying to conform to what his idea of a British man is like, but also, you know, trying to keep that part of him. And I can relate to that as definitely a black man, and I'm sure all of us here can, of just, you know, trying to fit into a place where it doesn't feel like you do, so you're trying to change a couple of things about yourself. One of the questions I wanted to ask y'all is revolution or reform? Which theme was seen more throughout the story?
I think definitely revolution. Because I feel like with how much Britain has like taken over these other countries and has tried to claim like their language and their people, especially with in particular like Rami and Robin, like Victor. I feel like revolution is definitely like an underlying theme from the beginning that you can kind of tell that the story's heading towards that direction.
I can also see that too, just going outside of the book, the time period the book is set in. During that time, the British Empire, as we know, was very oppressive, especially in India, and as we see later in the book, China. And that caused a lot of things. It's like the Opium War, and later on down the line, it caused things like imperialism to collapse just due to that pressure of, you know, people finally got tired of the empires. All right. So, what do y'all think the book's outcome could be, since we're so far along?
I mean, I kind of hope that there's like some sort of good thing that happens. I feel like we're not really going toward that way. I think honestly I'm expecting some people to die or for them to get caught or like get in trouble and for something bad to happen.
Yeah, I also agree with that. I feel like there definitely has to be some suspense or some, I guess, consequence for their actions so far. I feel like that definitely, and hopefully the book will end with new reform. But I do see that this book is leading into definitely a more like high stakes situation. So I would like to see what happens next.
Same. I wonder if, if Robin's, actions in the end will ever really have actual impact, just because the British Empire is like, a large, powerful empire. And I wonder if, I guess, one group of people can have a big enough change to where, like, the empire itself recognizes it. But I could also see the book going in a way, which is kind of a dark way, but going in a way in the end where, like, their actions didn't really matter overall. Britain still has its wealth, it still has its empire. But, yeah. All right. So far what we read, what are y'all's key takeaways?
Okay, so I think the key takeaways are definitely like the signs of revolution, keeping your character and keeping what makes you, no matter what the situation is, and also not changing your values to help and make yourself seem more like others, especially when they are not like inherently Right.
For me, I definitely going back to like how language is very important, and it may not be in the like direct sense that the book explains, but I think a scene that can sort of like summarize it kind of is the scene at the beginning when Robin fears that he's like losing his Cantonese, and he doesn't want that to happen. Mm-hmm. I think definitely that's language is one of the biggest takeaways for me, because I feel like I can relate to that a lot, like not being able to speak a certain language and just like how that affects me.
And then for me, my key takeaway is more of just like a deeper thinking of now I kind of look at like nationality, especially in Western countries, a little differently, because it almost feels like we're being able to, push past all like our country has done or other countries have done to harm or in some cases even cripple other cultures and societies just for their own betterment. All right. Do y'all have any ending remarks that y'all would like to make?
I would like to say that this book, like so far, has definitely been really enjoyable. It definitely has like some messages that are eye-opening and are definitely like needs to be used in like our current lives, and I feel like that's really useful.
Any for you, Raquel?
Honestly, I just agree with what Austin said.
That's all for our first episode of the Jar Podcast. Thank y'all for listening.